Hi everybody, it's Dave Koken, and it is the Friday edition of Proline, and there will be a Saturday edition of Proline this week. The guys will be getting together to talk about, you know what's going on, Elite Eight action, I should say, on Saturday in college basketball. So we will definitely have a weekend Proline. You want to make sure and check for that. Probably late Friday it'll be available, or first thing in the morning. Before we get to today's card, and I'm going to look at the Richmond-Kansas game in just a moment, tell you about My Vegas Odds, which you haven't downloaded it yet. I mean, you're missing out on a terrific free application. Lines, odds, scores, info. It's good stuff, and it doesn't cost anything. If you have an iPhone, you can go to the iTunes or the App Store and download it. It's 100% free. My Vegas Odds. My free picks for each day. Actually, there are two ways to get it. You can call toll-free, 1-888-712-6800. That's 1-888-712-6800. That's on tape. Or you can just text my name, Koken, C-O-K-I-N, to 313131, and within moments you'll get back the free play for the day on your cell phone. And tonight's special, we're going to, first got to touch on last night for a second, because I did lose my top play, and this was the thing you dread if you're an underdog. Better, you don't want overtime. You hate ties because they're going to go to overtime, and all you can do at that point is lose the game. And that's what happened to me. I had BYU. Really liked the side last night. I'm not one who sits as a rule and says, boy, the officials did this. But I got to tell you, I don't think they got the best of it from the officials last night. And in any case, Collinsworth hits a free throw late. It's either going to be a 1-point win for BYU or a 1-point loss for BYU. And I'm going to cover the number, but he misses the second free throw. And I was at an auction draft for one of my baseball leagues last night, and so this was just before the draft had started, and of course, you know, the games are on, and we're sitting there. As soon as he missed the free throw, it's a tie game at this point. There's still plenty of time left for Florida to get down, get a shot, maybe win the game. But even before he shot the free throw, I said he's going to miss this, and this game's going to overtime. I could feel it coming. Second straight night I've had an underdog that I ended up in overtime with. I managed to survive with Northwestern plus the points against Washington State. They lost the game in overtime, but they managed to cover the spread. But last night, it's just, you know, there's nothing you can do about it. It's just a bad beat. And that's the way it goes. It's a right side. It's a winner that turns into a loser. I had BYU plus the points, and the extra session, a disaster for BYU. They just got run off the court, so it ends up as a loser. That's the way it goes sometimes. But as long as I'm handicapping them properly, the results will take care of themselves. You'll have a few bad losses like that, but you know what? You got a few lucky wins along the way too. They have a tendency to balance out sometimes. If you do this though, if you bet, and everybody, you guys, I'm assuming, all bet, ladies as well. That's why you're watching this stuff, and you know that it never seems like they even out in your favor. And you know what? Maybe they don't. That's where the luck bitch, Lady Luck becomes the luck bitch, okay? Anyway, let's look at tonight's special. It's a $5 game. Just $5. It's an under-the-hat play. And I'm going to guarantee it. It's going to get the money for you. It is on one of the NCAA tournament games. You got to win, or the rest of the basketball tournament action is completely free. So take advantage of it. It's a $5 is all it costs for the game and the guarantee. 1-866-841-1665 is the number. That's 1-866-841-1665. Okay, let's look at Richmond in Kansas. It is dicey laying big points in this tournament at this point because all these teams can play. Richmond runs some really interesting stuff on offense. Chris Moody's doing a great job with this basketball team. He's signed a pretty long extension there, so I don't know that Mooney's going to be going anyplace. But his name is certainly on the hot screen, so to speak, in terms of coaches who would be desirable commodities at this point. But again, right now he's the coach at Richmond, and he has done a great job with this team. I think they're going to give Kansas some trouble in this game. But the problem is, eventually, I think you're talking about, of all the Sweet 16 matchups, I think this is the one that features the biggest gap in just pure athleticism. Richmond is not a real athletic team. They're smart. They play good basketball. It's not like they're bums. I mean, I don't want to make it seem like they're, you know, like an Ivy League school. It's just getting out there and managing to somehow confound the opposition and stay in the game. They're good athletes, but they're up against a team that could very well be the most athletic team in the entire tournament in Kansas. I think that's going to get Richmond in trouble at some point in this game. And Kansas is capable of going on one of those big runs and taking what looks like a close basketball game and turning it into one that's not so close. So it's a game where I really think for 30 to 35 minutes, I would not be surprised if Richmond is right there with Kansas. But I think down the stretch, Kansas just has too much depth and athleticism in size to not pull away in this game. And I think Kansas, at the end, is going to get there, not by a lot more than the number. This is not one of those games where you look at it and say, oh, they're going to be an easy winner. I just don't see that happening. I mean, I don't see this being 17 or 18 or one of those deals. But I do think it could be 12 or 13 at the end. So free play, free opinion for the day is Kansas minus the points against Richmond. And again, not a lot of games to choose from in terms of coming up with a free opinion. The good stuff obviously is going out to my personal service customers. So, you know, I wouldn't go wild with this. It's a recreational opinion only, if you want to call it that way. The game that counts, under the hat play, it's guaranteed. The cost is only $5. You got to get the money, or you get the rest of the college basketball tournament stuff completely free. Number to call, 1-866-841-1665. Hope to hear from you on that. And don't forget to ask about the early bird baseball. It's still out there, $49 for the month of April. It's about $1.50 a day or thereabouts. And I killed April baseball. Last year I killed baseball the entire season, just had a monster year. But I always get off to good starts. So find out about that when you call as well. Just say that, hey, give me some details on the baseball, and we'll get you set up. I think that's it. We'll be back either, let's say, late today. You can always check early in the morning. But we'll be ready to go with more college basketball analysis. We get into some great weekend stuff on the weekend edition of Proline. I'm Dave Koken. Have a great day. See you tomorrow.